Collections are one of the most powerful tools in Logos Bible software because they let you group together books with filters. So instead of having to choose specific books that you want to put into a collection, you can describe a collection in terms of what you want included in it and what you want excluded, and then as your library grows, the collection's automatically adapted. So I'm going to go here to the Tools menu and select Collections to open up my collection editor. And we'll start by making a collection on counseling. So you see I've got my collection editor. I can create a new collection, which happened automatically because I don't have one, or I can go look at a list of existing collections. So I'm going to name my collection Counseling Resources, let's call it. Now the collection editor is like a mathematical equation. You can read it as start with resources matching this rule, then add these resources, then subtract these resources. The result is your resulting collection, which is shown below. So at the moment I have no resources, 0 resources in my collection because I haven't added anything. So I'm going to start with resources that match the word counseling. So I type counseling, and you see right away I now have a collection of 12 resources. Biblical counsel, resources for renewal, called into crisis, the 9 greatest challenges of pastoral care, and the College Press NIV commentary. Why do I have that? I have that because Paul was counseling in this, and it's in the description of the commentary. So what happened is the word counseling was matched against the author, the title, the subject, the description, all the bibliographic data about the book. So this is a pretty good counseling collection, except for that one extra commentary. So most of these books are about counseling. I really want all the books that have the word counseling in them except this College Press NIV commentary. So I'm going to click on it and drag it to the minus these resources section. So now, see, my collection is now 11 resources. So it is all the resources that match counseling, plus no extra resources, minus the College Press NIV commentary on 1st and 2nd Thessalonians. The result is an 11 resource collection. So that's how easy it is to make a collection. The great thing is, as I add books to my library, they're automatically added to the collection. If they match the counseling keyword, then they'll be added. So while I have 11 resources now, if I buy a disc full of new resources and they're on counseling, they'll automatically be added to my collection. Now if I want to create another collection, I can go here and hit New. So I'm going to go to New, and I'm going to create a collection of on theology books. So we'll call it Theology Resources, and I'm going to start with all resources that match theology. But you know, I really want books whose subject is theology, not that happen to mention theology somewhere in them. So I'm going to say subject : theology. All the fields that were available in the library, all the kind of headers, title, author, my tags, rating, all these different things that are available to filter. So now I have 127 resources whose subject is theology. So I'm going to take a quick browse through this collection. That all looks pretty good. I've got Church Dogmatics, Francis Schaeffer, Concise Theology. Oh wait, I've got the Evangelical Review of Theology, and I have a lot of volumes of that journal. Well, it is about theology, but maybe I want to keep my journal separate from my kind of theology books. So I'd come up here and say subject theology and not title review. Now, all of a sudden I'm down to 102 resources. Now that might be a little too aggressive because maybe there's a book that about theology has review in it. So I'll say not evangelical review in double quotes. So now the same 102 resources. So I'm automatically going to pick up every resource on theology that doesn't have evangelical review in its title. Now I could also go to library and I could find a particular book. Like if I wanted to bring this Corinthians commentary in, I could click that book and drag it into the plus section. See, now I have 103 resources. I have all the subject theology and not title evangelical review, plus the 1 Corinthians MacArthur New Testament commentary. But that's not really a good addition to my collection, so I'm going to use the little X and delete it. I'm back to 102 resources. So now let's make one more collection here. I'm going to make a collection of favorite commentaries. So how do I decide what's a favorite commentary? Well, I could manually open the library browser and just start dragging my favorite commentaries into the plus this resources. But my favorite commentaries might change over time. And I've already kind of started to indicate what's favorite by giving stars. If we go to the library, you see I've given some commentaries 4-star ratings or a 5-star rating. Oh, this 5-star rating is actually on Him Stories. It's not a commentary. But in my library, I've rated different books with star ratings. But it's a mix. They're all different types. So I can come here and I can actually write a filter that uses the rules the tags or the star ratings in my library. So I'm going to say, I want books whose type is commentary, and that's 507 resources. But I want books whose type is commentary and whose rating is greater than or equal 4 stars. And look, that takes it to 17 resources. So that's not every book in my library with more than 4 stars. It's every book whose type is commentary and whose rating is greater than or equal 4 stars. And now I can add to my favorite commentaries collection just by going in library and changing the rating on a particular book. So if a book, I stop using it as much, I can take its rating down and it will fall out of the collection. Or I can come and take another commentary and give it a rating of 4 stars or higher, and it will automatically join my favorite commentaries collection without my having to do anything else. And when you're done working on commentaries, you just hit the X button. Your collections are already saved. If we go to search, for example, and go look at basic searching, you see in my list of collections that are available, I now have counseling resources, theology resources, and favorite commentaries all ready to go.